do you want to get started, or should we wait a few more minutes to see if Robert?
Why don't we get started? By the time you get going, they may choose to sign on. I have a couple people that are still signing on, but I haven't seen Martha or Robert as of yet. Why don't we take care of the minutes and the other stuff if it's okay with you? We are on record. Martha's signing on now. So if it's the pleasure of the chair, Chris, the
Sure.
floor is yours.
Sure. So I noted the time is 7:33. We'll call the May 5th, 2021 Historic District Commission to order. And our first agenda item is the approval of the March 3rd, 2021 meeting minutes. And I was wondering if anybody has any comments on those meeting minutes.
Mr. Chair, if I could ask that if you do have any changes or corrections on the minutes, that you articulate them in the meeting, because the person who takes them and it takes them off of the video.
Hearing no comments, I guess I'd like to see if anybody would like to make a motion about the meeting minutes.
I'll motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting, March 3rd.
Thank you, Louise. Anybody want a second?
Second.
Mark, thank you. And we're gonna, do we have to do a roll call order again, Hank?
Yes, please.
Okay, so let's see. Mark, you're up first. All in favor, so Mark,
Yay.
Louise,
Yeah,
Steve,
Yes.
Jim, Martha.
Martha, you're
and
muted.
You're unmuted, but I can read lips, I think, on that one. And then I approve as well.
okay.
So
you.
we might as well roll right into our first application. So I'm just going to flip to the right page here. Give me just a second. Sorry. Want to make sure I get the address and everything correct. Oh, there we go. So Hank, the first order of business today is an application for the Radner Lemish application at 8616 Nadine. And let's see, I see some familiar faces and saw all your drawings. So Ostrowski Design, let's hear what you guys have to say.
Well, good evening, everyone. It's good to see everyone again. Well, I am Michael Ostrowski of Ostrowski Design Group. I'm here with my associate and brother, Peter Ostrowski, who will be assisting with our presentation. We are the firm representing Daniel Lemish and Beth Radner of 8616 Nadine in Huntington Woods, and also prepared the design and survey documents in regards to 8616 Nadine, which we will be presenting and discussing tonight. There are 5 replacement constituent design features and discussion points which we are presenting tonight, and they are: number 1, replacement and upgrade of the non-original garage door. Number 2 is replacement and upgrade of the non-original upper level front elevation decorative window shutters. Number 3, replacement and upgrade of the non-original gutters and the reorientation of the downspouts and leader boxes to their original positions. Number 4, replacement and upgrade of the non-original front entrance door. And finally, 5, replacement and upgrade of the original wood windows. We are asking for a certificate of appropriateness regarding these 5 stated components. We submitted an existing engineered site plan, as well as proposed architectural floor plans, elevations, photographs, and a detailed existing window survey which illustrate and define our design intent. To begin, I would like to present the photos of the existing residence. Peter, can you put those up for us?
Yeah, Hank, can you,
Already did.
okay. Let me jump in. You want the photos, Mike? Oops.
Front elevation.
Yep. Okay. Are you up?
We're
No.
not saying anything.
Don't see anything.
Can't see
Pete.
it, Pete.
Hmm,
Would you like me to pull them
I
up?
got it. I got it.
Okay.
Pardon me. Sorry, I don't,
There we go.
is it?
There you go.
Okay,
Yep.
There you
okay,
go.
there.
Okay, there you are. Thank you. Okay, to begin, I would like to present the photos of this residence. Okay, the original residence was designed by the architect Lloyd H. Wright, was built in 1940 and was known as the W.C. Dugan House. It is a two-story hipped roof structure with brick coins and a center entrance. The side-lighted front entry door is flanked by multi-paned cottage-style 10/15 center double-hung bay windows with 2/3 angled stationary side lights covered with copper sheet metal roofing. There are decorative shutters on each side of the double-hung windows on the second story. There is a two-story side wing addition with an attached garage, which was built and renovated before the present owners took possession of the property. That addition also added aluminum siding, soffit, and fascia trim material to the entire structure, as well as molded plastic louvered shutters. The original gutters were also replaced and the downspouts were relocated from their original positions. Subsequently, in 2005, the house received a major addition and some selective cost-efficient exterior renovations, which included replacement of a substandard garage door, replacement of the vinyl shutters, replacement of the front door, and new wood metal clad exterior, sealed, double paned, energy efficient, argon filled, double hung, simulated divided light windows in the new and previously built addition. Per the renowned architectural preservation research team of Virginia and Lee McAllister, their reference book, A Field Guide to American Houses, published by Alfred Knopf in 1984, identifies this residence as an example of colonial revival French eclectic, circa 1915 to 1945. The main historic characteristics which they note and which we find regarding the house are as follows. Number one, a moderately pitched hip roofs with a ridge line parallel to the front facade, including a centralized entry porch covering less than the full facade's width. Masonry exterior wall cladding with a single brick belt course and brick coining corner detailing. 3, symmetrically massing with a favored revivalist curved underside entryway. Gutters are either half round with exposed bracketing, or in later construction, K-style gutters were employed. Leader boxes are also considered a standard architectural feature. Front facade downspouts are symmetrically placed on either side of the center entrance and installed typically with leader boxes, or sometimes called collector boxes. Bay windows, double and triple windows are ubiquitous features of the colonial revival style. Overall window placement is typically symmetrically balanced, with the upper level window directly above the lower windows, but being smaller in size. Most colonial revival windows are rectangular in shape with double hung sashes. In more accurate adaptations, each sash has 6, 8, 9, or even 12 panes. And in some variants, cottage style, where upper and lower sashes do not have the same number of panes, are found in a variety of configurations, such as 4 panes over 6, called a 4/6, 8 panes over 12, 10 panes over 15, etc. In 10, shutters, both operable and decorative, are a consistent feature in colonial revival variants with various styles and shapes. Most common are stile and rail construction with interior raised panel detailing. So thank you for your attention so far. And are there any questions?
Mike, why don't you just keep going, and then if they have questions, they'll be able to ask at the end. That way you'll be able to complete your presentation uninterrupted.
No problem. Next, I would like to go to the submitted drawings, sheet S1, which is the existing site plan. There it is. Thank you, Peter. Okay. Can everyone see that okay? There you go.
Yep, you're on.
Okay, the house's main rectangular block, which faces south, with the added wing and garage to the west, and the 2005 addition to the north. Driveway from the garage emptying onto Nadine, which Nadine runs north and south. The main entrance walkway of bluestone slabs. You see the overall existing landscaping layout and the proximity to neighboring residences to the east and west. The site plan is not changing. The footprint is not changing. Either landscaping is not changing. Everything is staying as is. Next, I would like to go to sheet A1, Peter, which is the existing first floor plan. Yeah, it's A2. That's the elevation. Sorry. Second floor, nope. Right there. There you go. Thank you. Is everybody focused now? Okay. 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 This drawing shows the entire existing interior layout of the main level of the house. It indicates the areas of renovation as well as the proposed original window replacement locations, which are indicated A through M, which are 13 windows, and the proposed non-original door replacement locations, number 1, which is the garage door, and number 2, the front entrance door. And I think everyone received these drawings with their packet. Okay. Pete, if there's no trouble, can we go to 2? Okay, thank you. This drawing shows the entire existing interior layout of the upper level of the house. It also indicates the areas of renovation as well as proposed original window replacement units N through U. And that is a total of 8 windows. Okay, next sheet A3, Peter, which is the proposed front and south elevation, proposed front or south elevation in the side or the west elevation. That's the back. Nope. There you are. Thank you. Here you can see the front elevation, which depicts the main historic characteristics which we described earlier. The drawing shows the proposed replacement locations of the original windows, D through M on the main level and R through T on the upper level. Again, a total of 13 windows, as well as the proposed non-original door replacement locations, number 1, the garage door, and number 2, the front entry door. We have shown them in a schematic and a hard-lined rendering. And so you can see how they fit with the existing elevation in a very proportional manner. You can also see the replacement gutters and relocated downspouts with their leader boxes, as well as the proposed replacement stained wood style and rail construction with interior raised panel shutters, which are proportionally sized to the width of the windows. Okay. E4, Peter. Thank you. This is the proposed rear or north elevation and the side or east elevation. This drawing shows the proposed replacement locations of the original windows, A through C on the main level, and N through Q and U on the upper level, a total of 8 windows. You can also see the replacement gutters and relocated downspouts with leader boxes. Any questions regarding these? If not, I'd like to continue. Okay. Okay. As mentioned, there are 5 features to our design proposal for your review. To go over them again is replacement of the garage door, replacement of the decorative shutters, replacement of the gutters and repositioning of the downspouts, replacement of the front entrance door, and replacement of the 21 original single pane windows. At this time, we'll be showing a photographic survey which highlights the existing deteriorating conditions of each feature, which will be followed by our proposed upgraded and more characteristically appropriate replacement, both in quality and appearance. The first one we'd like to show is the garage door replacement. Okay. The next 9 images that you see depict the deterioration of the existing non-original garage door. There you are. Initially we have on the left-hand side, the left-hand picture is the overall view of the picture. Those window panes are single pane plexiglass windows set in a non-glazed framing. Above we have splitting of the overhead soffit. And if we go to the next section, next pictures, we have details that are showing the deterioration of the door panel, which is a pine with a pressed board interior panels, which are flat panels. And as you can see how it's starting to split and deteriorate. If you go to the next picture, you can also see the upper left-hand corner where the frame and the brick mold is separating from the brick itself. There's a ton of movement in this area, and they've tried to repair and replace this a couple times, but it is continually moving and splitting. You can also see on the right-hand picture, again, where we have more deterioration and just breaking down of the existing door and frame. Peter, if you want to go to the next picture. Here again is the bottom of the door, which you can see where it's splitting, breaking, deteriorating. There's no gasket on the bottom of the door. Water is filtering into that area, and this is just not a very good quality door that was put onto this residence. Okay, Pete, if you want to go to the next photo, this is the door that we are looking to replace that inappropriate door. This is a solid wood style and rail cedar door, stained with raised panels. We have simulated divided lights 2/2 on each panel. It is totally gasketed and is more appropriate in keeping with the style of the home. Okay, next we have the decorative shutter replacement. Here are a few images depicting the deterioration of the existing non-original decorative shutters. These are contractor-made shutters that are flat paneled, that have a plywood flat face panel that is deteriorating with a semi-style and rail with an interior bed mold that was put up to replace the molded vinyl shutters. These go all the way along the front of the house, and if we slip or just show the other pictures, you can see where they are splitting, deteriorating, bowing, delaminating all the way across the front of the house, and they're quite unsightly. Here's a little more detail where you can see where the wood is cracking, and these are painted also. Okay. This is what we're proposing, an image. These are images depicting the proposed replacement shutters. Again, these are stile and rail construction with interior raised panels, keeping in the style of the colonial revival, and also matching pretty much with the same detailing and consistency with the garage door. Here again, these will be stained and sealed and installed in appropriate proportion. So if they were to close, they would be covering the whole window. So they are we're very concerned with that detailing, and these are very rich in nature and will enhance and also work with the style that we're looking at. Okay, Pete, the next one is the existing gutters and downspouts. Here are a couple images depicting the existing non-original K-style gutter at the front elevation. And you can also see on the picture on the left evidence of the original locations of the downspouts and leader boxes. And I think if you go to the next picture, you can see where the staining, where the gutters were, downspouts were originally located. There are also, if the next picture, you can probably see better, here is evidence of the location of the attachment points of the bracketing. And then at the picture on the right are the abandoned sewer leads that are cemented shut. But this is where the original gutters with leader downspouts, excuse me, were located on the house. So we are looking at replacing these with a proposed replacement architectural bronze half-round gutter, downspout, and leader boxes. These are examples of the half-round gutter. This is in a galvalume finish, but we wanted to show the detailing. If you look on the right picture, you can see the detail of the half-round with the 2 foot on center bracketing detailing. If we go to the next picture, again, you can see the half-round gutters, the downspouts, and the picture on the left is the color of the architectural bronze, which we are proposing for the house. Okay, that picture is the proposed leader box, which will be located on the front and sides of the main body of the house, which was original. This is shown in copper, but it will be in architectural bronze, and that will be located between the overhang, the eave of the house, and also the brick belt. So it's approximately 2 feet down from the eave. Okay. Finally, we're looking at the front entrance door replacement. Here are some images depicting the deterioration of the existing non-original front door. This is including the splitting of the painted style and rail door with the raised panel. However, the door is extremely worn. It is warped. It is pulling back away from the stops. In fact, from the inside, you can see light coming in from the front. The weather stripping is missing. The just is worn and ready to be replaced. Okay. This is what we were looking at for the proposed door replacement. It is a 6-panel door, looking at, again, a raised panel that is in keeping with the details of the garage door, as also the detailing on the shutters. The coloration will be the same, the deep walnut color. The hardware is not what we are looking at. It's really the door itself. Okay, Peter, thank you. Finally, our fifth is the 21 original window replacements. Beth Radner and her husband purchased 86-116 Nadine 28 years ago. And at that time, the house inspector advised them to replace the windows. Since the house had no appliances, kitchen floor, or countertops, among other things, they put it off. The Radners over the years have had the existing windows refurbished twice, with both times including stripping and reglazing, exterior caulking and painting, both the complete interior and exterior window assemblies, to try to remediate all continually failing components, which include upper and lower sashes, splitting main sills, warped frames, muntins, glazing, glazer points, inoperable storms and screens, as well as damaged brick molding. At this time, the windows are deteriorating rapidly. The family has experienced harmful consequences due to the failed and failing sash cording and weights. The windows have acted like, quote, guillotines, unquote, and have more than once injured a child. Upper floor windows which fail to open are causing concern and anxiety for fear of being trapped on the second floor due to any environmental or personal catastrophe. With the exposed, splintering, separating, and eroding wood windows, weather, wind, water, and not to mention invasive insects are hastening the ultimate failure of these 81-year-old windows. All the existing windows, which we are asking for replacement approval, were systematically visually surveyed by exterior and interior photographs, as well as with thermal imaging photography. All found original window assembly deficiencies were documented, independently verified, and submitted for review. Please review to the existing window visual exterior and interior survey dated April 2021, which copies were provided to the committee. If you have any questions regarding the reasons for our request for their replacement. Peter, could you show the, okay, these are the proposed all wood with exterior metal clad replacement window by Pella Window and Door Company. We are proposing to utilize the Pella Window and Door Company's all wood double hung window with exterior metal cladding that matches all the dimensions and size specifications of the existing double hung windows, including styles, rails, sash sizes, number of panes per sash, muntin width and thickness, and exterior brick molding. The physical sample of this window has been at the Huntington Woods City offices for the last month for physical inspection. Questions?
Michael, just for clarification, if I could, one, the manufacturer for the gutters is who?
Oh, I'm sorry, hey, I don't have that manufacturer's name, but I can obviously get that. And I can get a
Okay.
sample of the gutter itself.
Okay, I just was asking, it just seemed like a very interesting type of gutter. And then just so that people could see here, this is the sample that Mike's had. Some of you had a chance to view this. This is the section portion of it so that you can see. This right here also has the shadow bars in it. You can see the double hung. It's an SDL, but it does have the shadow bars. And you can see the different types of material that you have in here. Where you have the wood, it's a clad window. That's the inside, so it could take a stain or a paint. And the outside is clad, so it would be a maintenance-free outside. So if you have any questions about those, Mr. Ostrowski, I'm sure would be happy to answer those. Other than that, Mike, does that conclude your presentation?
Well, at this time, I would like to address and respond to the Secretary of the Interior's 10 standards
Thank you.
used by the Historic District Commission to determine if a certificate of appropriateness should be issued. May I continue?
Please do.
Thank you. Response to the Secretary of Interior's 10 standards used by the HDC to determine if a certificate of appropriateness should be issued. Number one, the property is staying as a residence and there is no change to the existing character, function, materials, features, spaces, and/or special relationships. Number two, the historical character of the property is being retained and preserved. As our design proposal indicates, the integrity and historic characteristics of the colonial revival French eclectic style are untouched and properly maintained. No changes to the property would create a false sense of historical development. All previous changes or alterations to the property are being retained and preserved. All distinctive materials, features, and construction techniques or examples of craftsmanship are being preserved. All historical features that are being proposed for replacement installation are required due to the unrepairable deterioration of the original components. Replacement of missing, damaged, and/or unrepairable features has been substantiated by documentation and physical evidence. All other original historical details and/or materials are intact and require no repair or replacement. No chemical or physical treatments are required on any materials. All archaeological resources, if any, will be protected and preserved in place, and if disturbed, mitigation measures will be undertaken. The proposed replacement materials will be compatible with the historic integrity of the property and its environment. And finally, all new construction is designed in a way that will allow that, if removed in the future, the essential form and integrity of the property and its environment would be unimpaired. Thank you very much. I am ready for any questions and discussion. Thank you for your attention.
Thanks so much for the level of detail. We really appreciate it. Hank, would you like to give your report?
Yeah, basically, I'm not going to reiterate everything that Mike has said, but I do want to address the Secretary of the Interior's guidelines, seeing as they're important. Basically, I want to draw your attention to number 4, where it says most properties change over time. Those changes have acquired historic significance of their own rights, and they shall be retained and preserved. In this case, most all of what Mr. Ostrowski is proposing to replace on this house has already been replaced, with the exception of the windows, and his documentation stands as noted. It really doesn't so much apply because nothing that has been built, the additions or the changes, have been built and yet have acquired significance as far as the Secretary of the Interior's guidelines. The garage door replaced in 2004 and 2005, and the front door replaced some 15 years ago. Shutters and downspouts are all not original. As Mr. Ostrowski pointed out, the downspouts were detailed on the front. You can see where the staining is, showing you exactly where the downspouts should be on that particular type of structure. And it's the intent of the applicant to restore those to the original condition. The other areas where the downspouts and the K-gutters that exist will be coming off the building and will be put back to where they should be. The only question that I have about that for Mr. Ostrowski is those downspouts will have an elbow on the bottom, and of course you understand that you can't reconnect to the city sewers. And
Absolutely.
that's so, yeah, so that I assume would be. And then, you know, as far as the deteriorated historic features, I'm sure that some of the commissioners might have questions about whether or not all the windows were repairable. I will thank you very much for your thorough documentation of each individual window. That's much appreciated, and may help assist the Historic District Commission in their endeavors to try to find out whether this is worthy of a certificate of appropriateness or perhaps even a notice to proceed. Having said that, Mr. Chair, there's no point in going through everything. Mr. Ostrowski was really very thorough with his presentation. And at this point in time, sir, I'll turn it back over to you.
Sounds great. So we'll just kind of go around to each of the individual commissioners for an opportunity to ask questions. Mark, you're on first.
No, I don't have anything.
Terrific. Louise, you're next. You're on mute, though.
Yes, thank you. Well, I want to echo Hank's comments and thank Mike again for doing such a thorough job. And also to the applicants for wanting to put back in original detail those downspouts and leader boxes. I think would enhance, again, re-enhance the look of the facade. I think that perhaps if we move forward with some motions, that maybe we do it in pieces and see what everybody thinks about the various components. A little concerned about replacing all the windows. I was in a house that had very extremely deteriorated windows, and were able to fix them, repair the storms, at least on the front, and they work really great. So I'm going to listen to everybody else's comments, but that's what I'm thinking right now.
Thanks very much. Steve, you're up next.
A couple of comments. Again, it was a great presentation and you really addressed quite a bit here, and I appreciate that. I'm centering really on the windows because that's really the area that appears that it's truly the original part of the house. From what I heard, the replacement window will look identical to the windows in every dimension and number of lights and panels and so on.
Yes, yes. Exactly.
So, and are those windows similar in nature to the other windows that are currently on the house that are not being replaced?
Yes, they are.
Are they? Will they have exterior screens on them, or I know that I believe
they
that
will have exterior screens on them. That is correct.
So the windows in the front bays are also double hungs that are openable.
Yes, they are. The storms that are on there now I don't think they've been removed in 10 or 15 years. They are split. They are breaking away from the frames themselves, or from the overall trim detailing. If you look at the photographs that we submitted on those windows, you can see, and also the thermal imaging, you can see where we have quite a drop in radiant heat on the glass itself. In fact, with a double pane versus a single pane, we will increase the BTU savings by 73%. A lot of the problem with the windows that are in there is not just the radiant loss of heat, but also the air infiltration that is seeping around the exterior trim and the exterior splitting caulking. The fact that the broken sash cords and weights are hollow, and where again the exterior, there's wind penetration and again a tremendous loss of heat in the winter. So we're addressing all aspects of every detail.
Do a number of the windows have added on storms that were not original to the house?
Every window in the house, throughout the house, except for the two bays, have added on storms that are poorly fitted, breaking, deteriorating, rusted screw heads, warped, holding water that is warping all of the brick molding. They, if you look at the pictures throughout, every window is in terrible disarray, with the window penetration and wind and water penetration, where the sills are splitting and cracking. I mean, if you go, that's one of the reasons we put the book so that you could really review instead of going through 1,000 pictures, obviously, through the presentation. And we were very thorough, as I said, both on the exterior and the interior survey to make sure that we showed you the deterioration of these original assets, considering they're 81 years old. So,
Okay, well, I think you've answered all my questions.
oh, okay.
Thank you. And a little more too.
Oh, well,
Thanks.
Jim, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I'd like to know if we have a historic record of shutters on the exterior of the house, and also what the gutter, the original, we know, I'm convinced of the locations of the original downspouts on the front of the house, but I'd like to understand what the original gutter looks like.
as far as we know, Jim, the information,
It's okay if we don't have it, I'm just curious. If you've
we have
seen
an
it,
image
great.
of
If you haven't,
that was in the original book that has after the addition was put on, but we were unable to find, pictures of, this is, I don't know if you can see this, but this is on the book. This is after the original edition was put on, the first edition, and they
Yeah,
stripped.
no, I'm mostly concerned with what the original conditions were, because we have a very stylized gutter as proposed. We want to make sure that we're not trying to replicate history. The other question, though, is about the shutters.
Yes.
We're talking about replacing vinyl shutters, which I'm guessing were obviously not original. Is this a house that originally did have shutters on it, or is this something that it was an embellishment over time, and now we are just putting on a nicer version of that embellishment?
Well, that's hard to say. I know that from our colonial revival review, most of these homes did have shutters, and especially up on the second floor. And they were style and rail construction, and the center rail lined up with the sash, the double sash. So we're keeping in tune with because we don't have the original drawings of the house. They were, I know Hank has looked for them in the archives, and we are going with our best survey information and historical characteristic of the house.
Understood. Thank you. And then on the windows, we heard that the windows have been refurbished a couple of times
Yes.
over the 28 years that you've owned the home. I guess I'd be curious, when was the last time they were refurbished? And to me, sometimes we just have things that are maintenance items, or is there something that is endemic with the windows that cannot be refurbished? And I'd be happy to hear from the homeowners on that one, knowing their history with it.
Mr. Chairman, Beth has waved, so I'm guessing that you would like to speak.
Is that okay? If I
Yes,
speak?
please do. Yes, the question was
Thank you.
directed towards you. I'm sorry, I was
Oh,
on mute.
thank you so much. Yes, we've had the windows reglazed, repainted, refurbished. I think it's more than twice. The last time was in 2017, I believe. And he did the best he could, but we still can't open them. I mean, we can't open the windows. And we tried and tried, and there was one time, maybe it was about, I don't know, my children were younger, so it was a long time ago, and one guy actually could manage to open up some, but then they would come smashing down, so we would put books in them to keep them open during the summer to get some air upstairs. But now I can't even do that.
Sure.
And it's so frustrating, and that you can't even open the windows, not to mention the fact that it's a fire hazard. I mean, so
Great, thank you. I
anyway, yeah, okay. Thank you.
appreciate that. Yeah, I got
But it is a labor of
I-
love. I mean, we've tried because we really appreciate the historic nature, what the city's trying to do, but it's kind of a losing battle.
Jim,
Understood.
can I interject here for a minute? I just want to address the question that you had about the older windows. That's all right, may I? The if you look at the sash weight and the sash cord, it's a steel sash ribbon, and that's been failing. So unlike windows that were done, say by not Butzel, but the old architectural or old hardware company that used to make windows in Detroit, you had access to the sash weight. There's no access to the sash weights here at all. So these are more modern windows than were original. So it makes it incredibly difficult to even reattach the weights by this ribbon, this steel ribbon. It's a more modern window.
And then I think Steve kind of touched on it, but the configuration, I think if we are talking about a replacement of windows that are in the same elevation as newer windows that are on an addition, I want to make sure that we are not only compatible, but as close to identical as possible. Is this the same product with the same profile? I understand that you're not going to get the exact same product from 15 years ago that you will today.
Mhm.
But are we, and I know it's also difficult not knowing what was on that edition, if that was as close to the original as possible. So where do we sit in that range of, what I'd like to understand is the entire front elevation meant to look historic, or are we looking to just replicate the existing windows that are failing, and that we are okay with, say, the garage door, which is not original, nor is the garage, and the other additions which are not original, nor are there windows. Are we trying to match those, or are we trying to match the existing windows that are failing?
We are planning to match the existing windows that are failing. The dimensions of the existing windows are identical in the dimensions of the replacement windows, which was fortuitous in the fact that not only the muttons are the same dimension, the style and the rails are the same dimension. So we've also been able to replicate the same 8/8 upstairs, and then the cottage style on the first floor. So the other thing that is nice is the fact that the windows or the screens that are the combined metal screens and storms that are on the house now, put another bar or break along those front windows, and you can't even really notice because of the reflection of the storms, the muttons and the sashes themselves, which are again non-original. And the only thing, obviously, this type of thing, I know that I know a lot of us can remember hanging the storms with the clips on the upper of the upper windows to put the storms on your houses. So those are long gone, number one, except for the bays on either side, which are also, I should say, long gone. So those are warped and split, and water is penetrating in, and water, if you look through our the survey, water is penetrating into the house itself through the windows.
All right. No, I don't have any more questions. Thanks, Chris.
Okay.
Martha, you're up.
So I've got McAllister in front of me here, and I'm kind of concerned with the choice of shutter, because in the Colonial Revival, it looks to me like most of these are louvered shutters, not paneled. So I'm questioning why you would choose a paneled shutter it changes the appearance of the house, and it doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't seem to go. I mean, if you're interested in the revival of it, to me, it doesn't look like it goes. My second question is about the front door. Are you sure that your front door is not original? Because looks to me like it's the exact same door that I have on mine. Mine's original, and my house is a colonial. It was built in 1940 here in Huntington Woods too. So I have the same panel on it and the windows that go across. And I see that door all over Huntington Woods. So are you sure that that's not the original door that you were showing us?
As far as we know, from our understanding, that was a replacement door.
Okay, well, the style
And the
is,
shutters, again, Martha, the shutters, colonial revival with a French eclectic. There's a variety of different shutters and shapes that went all over on colonial revivals. As you know, there are different varieties, different variants of the colonial revival. They're all over the United States. And the variant that we're selecting, we feel is appropriate with the type of design and also the type of window.
and then I want to, is there any way that you can show me what the window looks like again? Because I wanted to get a better understanding of the profile of the Muntin bars. You
Hank,
said
can
that
you
Martha, if
pull
it
the
helps
window
you,
up
I
again? They
can
match
show you.
exactly the Muntins that are there. It's an OG detail, stepped OG.
Yeah, but I'm looking at the pictures of your windows here, and the Muntin bars, that's not the profile. You have a lovely, it's like a double ridge in here, and I'm looking at my windows, which are very, very similar because they too were put in 1940, and there's that delicacy to the Muntin bar that I can see in your original windows here that what Hank just showed me doesn't exist.
Did you go to the, take a
No, I
look?
didn't even know that was on, that was at the city. I
No,
didn't
it's been there for about a month.
late.
Here
So,
is the profile.
yep,
Here's the OG pattern.
right. But what
It's
I'm talking
radius
about,
and it's an OG pattern that matches. It's the same width and depth.
but it's not the same delicacy. So,
Well, I think the lack of delicacy there is no delicacy on most of those Muntins that are existing on those windows. That is
well,
gone.
and that's
It
a
is,
shame.
it is deteriorated. It is mold
That's a
filled.
shame. Mike,
It
can I
is-
finish, please?
I'm sorry. I thought I was.
That's a
I
shame
apologize.
because, you know, they have to be taken care of, like about every 10 years. I just had mine redone about 2, maybe 3 years ago. And I expect I'll have to redo them again. But I had a guy come and he went ahead and cleaned up the windows. He reglazed, he recaulked, repainted, and they look fine. You know, same windows, 1940. And it's just disappointing because I can't believe that you can't find somebody to do that and maintain the integrity of those windows. So I'm just disappointed. As for the downspouts, they look a little heavy to me. I mean, what you're showing us are downspouts I'm seeing people put on Tudor revivals around my neighborhood and around the city. So, but I don't know that much about the guttering. I'm just looking at McAllister too, and I'm not seeing that style of gutter on these colonial revivals, but that is not really my forte. They just look a little heavy to me, you know, for the elegance of their house. So those are my comments.
Mr. Chair, if I could get a clarification.
Sure.
Mr. Ostrowski, is it your representation then that the Muntin bars, the pattern that is there is not currently available? And this is as close as you can come.
Absolutely. It is dimensionally,
Okay.
form, we took the window off, measured it both. We had the representative of Pella come along, and it is very, very close, if not exact.
Okay, and then the second question that I had that might help to clarify some things for the commission is that on the windows on the side, typically what happens is that there's a swelling of the windows, which makes it impossible to make them go up or down, or a warping of the windows, which makes them almost completely non-functional, or there's the detachment of the counterweight. When that is broken, they come off like the guillotine effect.
That's exactly
So
right.
is your representation to the commission that one or all of those factors exist along with the picture deterioration that you've shown in your survey? And is that what you're representing to the commission at this point in time?
Absolutely. If you look
Thank
at our survey, we took each window, we took an overall view, we made a key on the pages and added to each window what was the major deterioration, both interiorly and exteriorly.
Thank you.
I think everything that I was going to talk about has been covered, so I don't have anything further to add to the discussion. So at this point in time, I'd like to see if there's anyone from the public who would like to speak about this application. So Hank, you can, I guess at this time, I'll close public participation because I don't see anybody here to participate. So I guess at this point in time, we are looking for a motion on this application. So is there anybody who would care to make a motion or a series of motions? I've heard somebody who may want to make a series of motions to address the application.
Mr. Chair, for clarification, you have 6 people here tonight. There are a minimum of 4 votes will be necessary to pass any of that. You're certainly able to split this into sections if you would like to take it item by item, whatever the pleasure of the chair is, or
And
the maker of the motion.
I was going to leave that up to the maker of the motion, see if that will give the temperature of what everybody's thinking.
I'll make a motion.
Please do.
Chris, can you hear me?
I can hear you. We're late. We're sitting on the edge of our seat waiting.
Okay, I would move to handle the whole matter as of one parcel. And I would move to approve the application in its entirety and issue a certificate of appropriateness under standard number 2, as I believe everything that's proposed is entirely consistent with the character of the property.
Would anybody care to second that motion, please? Steve, your lips are moving, but I can't
You're
read
muted.
that one.
I would second that motion.
Thank you, Steve. So at this time, we'd like to see if there's any discussion. I can go one by one, or if anybody has anything to say among the commissioners. How do we want to do this? You want me to go? Mark, you made the motion. I assume that you're in good, you don't have a whole lot to say. Louise, do you have anything to discuss about the motion?
Good call. Yeah, I'm for it.
You're on mute, Louise, so. Still
Still
on
on
mute.
mute.
I'm sure it
Okay,
was
there we go.
brilliant.
Yeah, of course, as always. I want to thank Mike's brother for explaining about the ribbon and the weights, because the windows I was talking about had easy access with the rope and then the big weights on them. So it was a different animal. So thank you for that.
Steve, any discussion?
Nope, I'm all set, thank you.
Jim, any discussion?
No, sir.
Martha?
Nope.
Okay, so we're gonna make a roll call vote on this one. So Mark, just for formality, I know you made the motion, but you're up first. So how would you like, this is all in favor, Mark?
Yes.
Louise?
Yeah.
Thank you. Steve?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Martha, how would you like to vote?
Yes.
And I will vote a yes as well. So congratulations. The motion passes. Thank you very much again for the level of detail. We really appreciate that. I mean, obviously, the more you bring to us and give us the information, the detail, it makes it a lot easier for us to better understand the problem and gives us a lot more ability to what we feel is make a good judgment. So thank you.
Well, thank you for your time and your confidence and your comments.
Hank, is there any other business at this point in time?
At this point in time, Mr. Chair, we do not. You will be having a meeting in June, however. The agenda will be forthcoming on that. But other than that, I don't have anything else.
So at this time, we do have one more opportunity for public participation. Is there anyone who'd like to speak?
I would just like to thank you all so much for the level of consideration you've given this and for maintaining such a beautiful community in which we live. And thank you so much.
Thank you for the comments. Seeing that there's no other public participation, I'll close that public participation and we're looking for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
We need
Second,
it. Okay. I say all in favor. I don't think I'm going to need to do a roll. Aye.
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 I think the
Aye.
motion unanimously passed, Hank. So thanks everybody for your
We're good
time.
with that.
All right. Have a great evening, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Good night. Good
Thank
luck.
you. Night.